Just a day after finishing second in the Iowa caucuses, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is back on the trail. His first stop this morning, though, was in South Carolina, not New Hampshire. And there, he didn't attack the man who beat him, former President Trump. Instead, he went after Nikki Haley in her home state.
Her own campaign said top two finishers in Iowa punched the ticket. They were telling everyone they would be one of the two, and they were not.
Look, she was governor here for 6 years. Can you name major achievements under her tenure? I mean, tell me if there are, because she hasn't been able to do it.
Wow. CBS News political reporter Aaron Navarro joins us now from snowy New Hampshire. Hi, Aaron. Okay, so explain this to us. Why is Governor DeSantis choosing to go after Nikki Haley, who he beat last night by 2 points, but he did beat her, instead of going after former President Trump, who won the Iowa caucuses?
Nancy, good to be with you. Well, it's an acknowledgement of where Nikki Haley's position is in New Hampshire, in South Carolina, especially in New Hampshire, where she leads Florida Governor Ron DeSantis by almost 20 points, depending on the poll that you look at. So trying to cut into her lead has been a priority for DeSantis ever since, last night. And during a gaggle with reporters in South Carolina, he straight out said that he doesn't believe Nikki Haley will win New Hampshire. Again, trying to put the pressure on her, especially after Iowa, to do well in these next two states, especially in South Carolina, where DeSantis and his campaign believe that if Nikki Haley doesn't win her home state, that they, in their words, that they think she should drop out at that point. Of course, she's made no indication she would do anything like that.
He came in second place in Iowa, and of course, second place sounds good in theory, but DeSantis still lost Iowa by 30 points after visiting all 99 counties in Iowa. He engaged in that retail politics that Iowa's famous for, and he still lost. At this point, Aaron, does he have the time and the money to make up ground in New Hampshire and South Carolina?
Well, yeah, the question there is money. Or voters or donors still going to be motivated enough to believe the DeSantis campaign argument that he is a viable challenger to former President Trump when he cleared 50%, which from talking to DeSantis bundlers and donors going into Monday was a concern of theirs, that one, Trump would clear 50%, and two, that Nikki Haley would be within striking distance of DeSantis. And while DeSantis got second place, Haley was tailing him right behind him with just 2 points. So regardless, the governor has indicated that he is going to play in both South Carolina and New Hampshire. He was in South Carolina this morning, indicated that he may be favoring the state a little bit more. It's a bit more evangelical, a bit more conservative, kind of in the mold of his style of republicanism. And he's in New Hampshire tonight for a town hall.
Aaron, one of the things that's nice when you're a challenger, when you're trailing, is to participate in a big debate and get a lot of attention. But now it looks like DeSantis is not going to get that opportunity because Nikki Haley said she wouldn't debate in New Hampshire unless Donald Trump debated too. And so now we've learned that the ABC debate is canceled. Have you gotten any reaction from the DeSantis team about this? Are they disappointed?
Well, they were really hoping to get Haley on that stage, and they were pressuring her to get on. But if you look at the polling, DeSantis is just now where Haley is. And it kind of is indicative of the challenge facing DeSantis here in New Hampshire, a state that he has not invested nearly as much time as he did in Iowa, and where the electorate is not really necessarily in line with DeSantis's Republican base and, pitch.
Right. And he also benefited to some degree in Iowa by the support of the state's governor, Kim Reynolds, and in a way, Nikki Haley has a similar benefit in New Hampshire, where she has been stumping throughout the state with the popular Governor Chris Sununu. So we'll see whether that endorsement is as helpful to her or even more helpful and helps her to nab her first victory in New Hampshire. Aaron Navarro, thanks so much for joining us from a very cold and snowy New Hampshire.